Good afternoon. I'm Andrew Davis. Thanks so much for joining us. Tina is on assignment. She'll be joining us a little bit later. Well, new developments today in that Oglethorpe Mall shooting case. All 6 suspects back in court, but the case itself still not ready to move forward. Those suspects face a variety of charges, including felony murder for the July 2nd shootout at the mall. One bystander later died from his heart complications. In today's hearing, prosecutors and defense attorneys told the judge they're still waiting on some key evidence that includes ballistic testing from the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, as well as written gang expert analysis the state plans to use. Defense attorneys said they can't fully prepare or challenge the case without this information. Some asked for additional time to file motions because that evidence is still pending. The judge didn't set a new trial date, instead outlining deadlines for when reports and motions are expected.
One needs to understand that we do have a whole lot of moving parts here. Though we may want certain things to be done as expeditiously as possible, we are dealing with other sources and forces that we don't control.
Now, the judge set a 20-day deadline for the state to provide key scientific and forensic reports, allowing all 6 defendant attorneys to file any additional motions if they're needed. Now, the 6 suspects in this case are Theron Robbins, Jonathan Jones, Royce Haynes, Ajuan Hyman, Franklin James, and Demille Johnson. All of them have entered not guilty pleas for their role in the shooting. The Federal Bureau of Investigation Atlanta has announced they've arrested 55 of the 56 people indicted in a large-scale drug trafficking case in Glynn County and St. Simons Island. They're calling the case Powder Island. It says it's been going on since 2023. That case includes over 150 officers across Georgia's coast, including Glynn County Police and Sheriff's Department, Brunswick Police, and FBI Atlanta. Now, FBI Atlanta Assistant Special Agent in Charge Brian Osden says the drugs such as meth, fentanyl, cocaine, and more were being sourced from Los Angeles, Miami, Jacksonville, and Atlanta. One suspect was even shipping in drugs overseas as well. Osden says SWAT teams from FBI Atlanta and Jacksonville conducted dangerous arrests throughout the morning.
Anytime you arrest this number of folks and have this long and this wide ranging of an operation, it's going to have an effect. I mean, it's obviously, it talks to the ones who were arrested, but it also shows others that are attempting to commit these crimes that this won't be tolerated. So I think it has a tremendous effect, and it's really just a testament to the work effort done by law enforcement in this area.
Now, Osden says he expects the last suspect to turn herself in tomorrow. Officials are still asking if you see anything suspicious, call them 1-800-225-5324. Well, it is Savannah-Chatham Day at the Georgia State Capitol, and News 3 is right there at the Gold Dome in Atlanta. That's where we'll find WSCV's Tina Tyus-Shaw and Ben Singer out there. Guys, a great day to be from Chatham County as well as just the state of Georgia.
Good afternoon to you, Andrew, and hello everyone back home. Listen, we are so excited. We're at the Georgia Railroad Freight Depot and looking forward to Savannah-Chatham Day. Before we know it, this railroad depot will be filled with people.
And this is really an appropriate venue when you think about it. This is my first time in here, and it really is kind of Savannah-esque, which is that's what's on the menu tonight. We are talking all things Savannah. Folks from the Savannah Chamber are setting up for this party as we speak, and it's going to kick off here in about the next hour. And this is really a chance for Savannah to put its best foot forward and make its presence known. So when it comes to allocation for some state funding, we get some of our priorities met.
And some of those priorities that we will hear about today, education, we'll hear from Savannah Tech's president, Savannah State's president. Also, we're talking tourism as well, among other things.
So, you know, one of the fun things about being up in Atlanta today is we get to actually meet face-to-face with one of our correspondents. That is WSAV's Arshis Shashadri. Usually we only see him digitally, but he's in the flesh.
I'm not AI, I'm real. I'm a real person.
Real person, everyone, we can confirm. And you've been doing the real work today because you've been in the Capitol since early this morning talking with our local lawmakers about how they're going to, you know, ask for what they want.
Oh, absolutely.
The state has some priorities. So why don't you tell us what you're working on?
Yeah, I always say, this is an important day because everybody wants a piece of the pie. So yesterday was Augusta Day, today's Savannah Day. So everybody wants a little bit of that budget. In fact, a pretty packed agenda. We got the Chamber of Commerce's agenda, the city's agenda. So some of the key recurring themes when we spoke to the delegation, as well as lawmakers, really talking about tourism and finding ways to boost Savannah's tourism. Healthcare priority, also a key funding. The mayor talking about having more access for those who are disabled, as well as elder care. The city's homelessness, something that Savannah leaders emphasize. In fact, Governor Brian Kemp in his State of the State said there was $50 million allocated for that. So Savannah certainly wants a piece of the pie of that. And the biggest bulk of the state budget is education. So education certainly being a very pivotal point that the delegation talking about getting more students for nursing, doctors into parts of Savannah and the rural areas, the counties outside of Savannah, to improve healthcare access. In fact, last year they were able to bring the teledentistry, so really expanding upon that. But of course, the big talk is really shaking hands, meeting with lawmakers as the Senate and the House of Representatives, about 25% done before the end of session later on in April.
Hey, David.
I think number one on the agenda relating to Savannah is the beginning of St. Joseph Candler graduate medical education and residency. They're in line being approved by ACG and the American College Graduate Medical Education to start up internal medicine residencies as of July 2027.
About 700 members from the Savannah delegation were here in the Atlanta area under the Gold Dome, and they soon will be over here once the session wraps up and once they're done shaking hands. One of the themes that I certainly did hear was about tourism dollars, especially with the FIFA World Cup coming to Atlanta. So they want to capitalize that and bring folks to the Savannah area. So there's certainly a lot of momentum. And of course, we're only about 1/4 done, so a little bit more before the end of the legislative session.
Yeah, that makes sense. If people are going to come from all over the world, they got to make a couple-hour trip down the road to see our city as well. So that's sort of the nuts and bolts, the business end of this. This is kind of the party end of it. So
which is why we're here, right? Yeah, we're here for the party.
What do we expect tonight?
Well, it's going to be the big oyster roast. So State Senator Ben Watson has already given me my ticket. I don't know if we've got one for everybody, but here's my ticket. Admits one. Just saying,
well,
one.
They're already in here. So.
They're already here. They already sneaked the line. But no, it should be really fun. It's a nice way for them to meet everybody and really wrap up the day before they head back into business. But it's certainly going to be fun. While you all are anchoring, I may go and check it out just to make sure that we're covering and doing all the work.
That's a good idea. We should actually do that as well, don't you think? Thank you, Arthur.
Yes, thank you. And listen, the almighty apron. This is a big deal. The 2026 Savannah-Chatham Day apron for this legislative session, and the proud words coming out of a lot of people's mouths is the fact that Barnes, our community restaurant, is here to serve everyone. And I can't wait to see what's on the full menu. Barbecue is big with Barnes, and they're celebrating 50 years.
So we're going to chat with the folks from Barnes coming up in our next half hour, but in the meantime, we're going to send it back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Ben and Tina. Appreciate you. We'll hear from you in just a few minutes. Well, we've got another major update to that nickel refinery saga in Bryan County. The Bryan County Commission, development authorities, and city council are now investigating the potential site for contamination, which could push back any purchase of the site, possibly for years. WSV's Sarah Smith has much more.
That is the reaction from the crowd of people attending the Bryan County Commission special called meeting. As County Attorney Aaron Kapler explained, he's going to investigate the Caesarstone property and evaluate if they will pursue a lawsuit for public nuisance. Rumors of contamination brought to the county's attention by Westwind Elements CEO Kaylee Long.
There are hazardous waste barrels strewn about the property, and then she intimated that those hazardous waste barrels are inside the building and potentially outside.
This action will delay any purchase of that property. This is good news for those opposed to Westwind Elements building a nickel refinery on that land. Westwind says they'll clean up any contamination once they purchase the property, but Kapler says that's not their job. Residents I talked with told me this was a step in the right direction.
I can tell you, living here for over 30 years, the military brought me here. I've never seen such a groundswell for an action item for this county.
Many of them worried for their health and safety, property values, and quality of life.
I feel like you can see from everybody around us that we want this not to come here.
The Richmond Hill City Council meeting was at capacity, dozens of residents opposing this project.
I personally just don't trust what they say.
We're all very concerned about the area we live in and the impacts of the refinery, both from an environmental issue, from health issues, as we've heard, and just the unknown.
Ben Kirsch with the Ogeechee Riverkeeper also expressed his opposition.
Is it worth the risk of bringing it in, transporting it in, refining it, dealing with the waste, the solid waste, the liquid waste, and all of those portions, if it ends up in the landfill, ends up in our waterways even after being treated, is that risk worth it? And we don't think it is.
Of Westwind Kaylee Long tells WSAV that, quote, Westwind is eager to clean this facility. The county may believe it's more likely to be timely and properly cleaned and maintained by its current longtime and vacated owner than Westwind, but precedent suggests otherwise. Continues on to say, regardless, we're eager to acquire this facility, and doing so after potential remediation supports our goal for a clean, retrofit-ready facility. South Carolina, one of 2 states in the United States that does not have a hate crime law. Now one Lowcountry group urging local and county municipalities to adopt their own. The Lowcountry Coalition Against Hate organization urged Beaufort County officials to adopt a hate intimidation ordinance. Now, a violation to that ordinance would be a misdemeanor and would be punishable by fines, possible jail time, or both. Beaufort, Port Royal, Bluffton, and Hardeeville have already adopted one. Some council members say the Attorney General opinion is to not adopt such ordinances until one is passed at the state level. But one council member actually motioned to move it forward to council anyway.
Let's see if we can pass that as a first step to show people we are determined and interested to address this issue while the other issue at the state level is moving toward being resolved.
The motion to move that hate intimidation ordinance forward to County Council passed 6-2. Have you ever wondered how law enforcement find out who is responsible for a major car crash? WSAV's Isabella Baez actually sat down with the Georgia State Patrol's Specialized Collision Reconstruction Team to break down that process.
The Specialized Collision Reconstruction Team investigates over 50 crashes a year. Sometimes it takes them months to put together a case. Corporal Matthew Nelson is the team leader of the Southeast Georgia State Patrol SCIRT team, a team made up of only a handful of other officers. The SCIRT team is called in to investigate any crash that is considered a prosecutable homicide. Recently, they were called in to help assist the Savannah Police Department on a fatal accident that happened on Abercorn Street. Today, Nelson broke down the process of how they find out what exactly happened.
Once the scene is clear, we'll have our drone photos taken. Or we'll use our Leica total station if needed to take laser measurements. We'll also document weather, roadway factors, and all the different stuff. Once all that's done, we'll move on to vehicle inspections, search warrants, blood alcohol analysis, toxicology results, follow up with witnesses, any of that. Then we'll have to build an entire case file on that.
The GSP SCIRT unit has been serving the community for the past 26 years. Isabella Baez, WSAV News 3, on your side.
WSAV Time Saver Traffic is brought to you by Arrowhead Clinic, the accident doctors, where it pays to get well.
Well, this evening in our Time Saver Traffic Report, we are checking out Interstate 16 and Pooler at Pooler Parkway. We have some wet roadways out. There are some showers moving in, but traffic is flowing westbound and eastbound pretty smoothly through that area. We are seeing some minor delays along 204 heading out of town by Veterans Memorial Parkway. Also, Highway 80 at 95 seeing some minor delays. Same thing with Highway 21 at 95. The low country, for the most part, flowing smoothly at the Sarasota. Those drive times are pretty close to normal, just taking a little bit of extra time. Definitely give yourself some extra time because of those rain showers across the region.